Worm. Willy the Worm was so excited, he spied the biggest apple ever grown on the McClendon's tree. As he dove into the red skin of his tasty treat, he knew he was in for a scrumptious day. Suddenly, Willy heard a strange noise. Snap! His meal had been plucked from the tree and he was snug inside. But where was he going? Susie McClendon was pleased to find the biggest apple she'd ever seen to give to her teacher on the first day of school. She climbed aboard the bus with the apple in hand. Willy could hear the rumble of the engine and the chatter of children as they bumped along. Soon the bus pulled in front of the school. The door squeaked open as the children stumbled out. Susie held tightly to the polished apple. Class introductions were made as the teacher, Mrs. Hatfield, smiled warmly at each student. Susie was eager to give her teacher the apple. Willy, on the other hand, was anxious to know if he would be discovered. When Susie handed Mrs. Hatfield the prized possession, Willy decided this was his chance to escape. He wiggled his way to the top of the apple, hoping to slip out without being noticed. What a nice surprise, Susie, said Mrs. Hatfield. I love apples. But what do I see here? It looks like a worm. Oh no, Willy had been spotted. Ew, a worm! The children exclaimed. Yes, and what a lovely worm he is, replied Mrs. Hatfield. I have a wonderful idea for our little friend. Mrs. Hatfield found a large empty jar. Susie, will you take this container outside and fill it halfway up with some dirt from the playground? Susie did as she was told and returned to the classroom. Great, said Mrs. Hatfield. Now let's put our worm in the jar and place him on the bookshelf. Why the bookshelf? Susie asked. Mrs. Hatfield smiled at the class as she replied with a wink, where else should we put a bookworm? Willy loved his new home. Throughout the school year, he made new friends as the children added other bookworms to the jar. And the best part of all was the many exciting stories he heard read to him each day.